try to sum up today's interventions, but also the long journey called the Conference on the Future of Europe. Dear citizens, we are here, Ineke. So that's important. Dear citizens, dear liberal friends, it has been a very inspiring day for all of us. It has been inspiring to listen to so many of you. Your debates, your ideas, proposals, and of course, the question is how we're going to go together. I can speak for many when I saw that since our first town hall in Sarajevo, we have managed to have conversations that have had a tremendous impact in our way of life. I can only say I'm very proud of the impact of ALDE Party in this process, and I'm sure that we'll continue bringing good and positive ideas to the European project. We had an impact by opening our digital hub for the citizens to share their ideas and solutions, of course. From the very beginning, we wanted this conference to be a successful story for the liberals, but also for the European Union as such. A conference with a set agenda, a conference with goals. That was the main idea. I believe we have shown this, not a PR exercise, but a true citizens' assembly where the citizens were certainly involved. And again, but we must ask ourselves, what is next? We have to implement what citizens have proposed to us. There must be no excuses. Otherwise, we are simply leaving it to those on the extreme right and left to do it for us. We don't want that. I do not need to remind anyone about the fact that our partners in France and Slovenia are fighting exactly those extremist forces this week. They are fighting these extremist forces with these proposals, with these ideas, our ideas, liberal ideas, democratic ideas, through a ballot box. And they cannot count, and they can count on our support during the legitimate process of democracy. But we know democracy is more than just voting in a few seconds. This is why the Conference on the Future of Europe should be a model. Perhaps not at the same scale, but a continuous exercise involving citizens and bringing them together with the European institutions. What happens at the European level has a direct impact on regional, but also on local level. Dear colleagues, the last week have shown us that our freedoms, our prosperity, and European way of life was put under big pressure. Our liberal, rule-based order is what guaranteed the longest period of peace in our continent. If we want to go back to being a continent at peace, we must rebuild new order that guarantees collective security and prosperity. Today, we close our action plan on the future of Europe with this final event, but we will not stop, and we will continue fighting for our liberal values. And I would like to once again thank you for your strong commitment. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being with ALDE. And I want to quote once more Hans van Balen, who was always saying, liberals must unite. But this time, liberals must act. The future is now. Thank you so much.
very great to see, and of course we are here on a Saturday afternoon in The Hague, in the Netherlands. And if you look to those pictures in the different capitals where you organize those meetings, like the meeting what we had today, then we can only be proud of us and of our liberal family. I think we had an in-depth discussion today. So I would like also to thank all the participants here also, because you were very active, and unfortunately we had also not enough time to take all the questions. But I think I'm often in seminars or congresses like this, but this was for me personally really the first time that I followed from the start until the end, because I think the questions what we discussed, also especially this afternoon, is the key question now these days in politics. Not only in European politics, but also in the international side, but also national side, and also, for example, in municipalities where you are a representative of in Dordrecht. Dus that means also we need to have and distribute an answer. And we tried already today. I have some ingredients in my head. We need to be more bold, courageous. We need also to talk with more emotion. We need to reform the European Union, for example, engage with citizens, not only when there is a voting or an elections days and that you will vote, ask to vote for you in the 3 or 4 weeks before. But still, we need to challenge it, because I started already this morning. We have this moment a war on our European continent, and that's a war against liberal democracy. Ukraine, the people of Ukraine, are now in war defending our liberal democracy. We don't need to forget, because that means also maximum support to them. Because what I also mentioned, we need to defend liberal democracy anywhere if you want also to protect liberal democracy elsewhere. And it means also that I think we need to raise these questions and the analysis what we also had this afternoon. It is not so simple. It's not about raising substance, about topics, for example, or talking about qualified majority in foreign politics or foreign policy. Well, that's not how we engage, I think, with our own citizens. Our citizens want to give trust to you as a politician. And what citizen doesn't like is that it will be mistrust, that you don't promise, that you don't deliver what you promised. And if you cannot deliver what you promised, then you need also to explain to your citizens why you don't deliver. And sometimes I think we are not doing this. And that means that we also need to have an other strategy how we reach out to our citizens. That's not in discussions as today or in European Parliament when you address, for example, a statement or that you are in debate. That is on another thing. What Adrian also mentioned, you need to have strategy on asymmetric strategy if you want to count it. And also, especially, I want to underline what he also mentioned, we need also to be careful if you want to have an election pro-European against European, because otherwise you will also see a movement like this. Well, I think we have some housework, some homework also to do. We're touching on a lot of elements and a lot of ingredients, but for certain we need also to be prepared for 2024, European elections, for example, and of course also in the national elections. We see what we need to do. I think that we have also give some answers, but completely answer we don't have yet. Dus please think with us, think with ALDE family, think also with Renew Europe, We will also already prepare the strategy also towards 2024 campaign. This will be the input, also all the input what our citizens did also in the ALDE action plan if you talk about the Conference of Future of Europe. But I think we have a task together with each other to address how our strategy needs to be. It's not about the old way, how we did it always. Make a manifesto, talk about substance, addressing things. No, it's about, I think, closer engagement, what Dambana also mentioned, but also on another way. They need to trust you. They need to understand that you recognize their concerns. And then you need also, indeed, explain. And also the element, what is also mentioned this afternoon, about education, education in democracy, education, what's in the importance to have elections and to have vote. Well, we forgot that, I think. And that means we need to build up. Dus thank you to be here today. We have also an honorable guest, but before I give the floor also to Liesje Schijnemacher, who is now our Minister of Foreign Trade and Development, and she's just coming from United States, Washington, or not? Yeah. Well, if you want to make also some closing remarks and to go then also to our cocktail reception. But before I give you the floor, I would like to give the floor also to you, because you have an announcement, especially, of course, about Hans van Baalen, because Hans van Baalen is still amongst us, and we wanted also to keep that for the future. Thank you.
Thank you.